Okay. Are we really doing this thing? Am I doing 2 live streams at once? Is this a first? This is Sharks Night Shift, or at least it's about to be in just a second, but I'm also live streaming right now the city of Oakland. They're doing a potential vote to confirm the environmental impact report, to certify the EIR for a Howard Terminal Ballpark. I've been running that stream since 3:30 today. I guess it's going on almost 8 hours. Anyway, so that's on in the background. In fact, look, I'm literally watching it on my other computer right here, right now. So without further delay, is that? Oh, I thought the song was going to end. Well, you know what? I'm just going to end the song and start Sharks Night Shift.
Broadcasting live and worldwide. Here's Brody Brazil.
Almost hit the wrong button there. Welcome to the live stream. A most unfortunate hockey game unfolding tonight at SAP Center. Kind of a tale of 3 different games. There was the first period where San Jose looked sleepy, got outshot 15-4. They only took 8 total shots in that first 20 minutes. 4 were on net. So just looked out of it. It looked like an extension of their last loss, getting shut out by Edmonton 3-0 on Valentine's Day. But then they came alive in the second period, scoring 2 goals, outscoring Van 2-1 in the second. They outscored Van 2-1 in the third, including Barabanov's goal with 0.6 seconds left in regulation. It was so exciting. It was a taste of March Madness here in February. You don't really always get buzzer beaters in hockey. It's just not a sport that plays out and times out that way. But Barabanov's game-tying goal with 0.6 seconds left, the wrister short side, it was so exciting. It went along with the second period where Logan scored 3 and change in to wake the team up. Timo Meier had a pair of power play goals, so that was also a statement. But what you get at the end of the night is a Sharks team that now, for the first time this season, has lost 5 straight games. That's not a good first. And it's not like they've been getting blown out this entire time. I mean, that 3-0 defeat last time out was probably their worst. The prior 3 were on that road trip. What was it? Florida, Carolina, and Tampa, right? Those were the 3 prior losses. And, you know, all 3 one-goal games, hard-fought games, very difficult opponents. So you could understand those. And I think coming out flat against Edmonton after 12, 13 days off, some could have predicted that. Still unfortunate. But then you get to tonight where, you know, starting and showing up late and then definitely arriving and making a statement. It's crazy because when Barabanov scored with 0.6 seconds left, the Sharks still had never enjoyed a lead at all in this game. But you felt like if they didn't win it, you were going to be upset. Upset because you come all this way. Upset because, you know, there was theatrics in the end. Upset because the game was within reach. And you dug yourself that 2-0 hole to start. Unfortunately, that's what cost the Sharks in the end. So I made some notes. Let me just set up the live chat here so we can rock that out in just a second. And I greatly apologize if I am a bit distracted tonight and this entire night. I thought our shows were good, but I have literally had one eye on, where is it here? On this the entire time. This is, I'll turn the volume up in the background here. This is the city of Oakland, still going since 3:30 today, discussing potentially certifying the environmental impact report. They're asking a bunch of questions. Council members are. They did public commentary for, I don't know, most of the afternoon. So fatiguing. I don't know how you're supposed to make a good decision on this or a different decision on this based on how long it's gone. Anyway, I know this is Sharks Night Shift. This is not A's coverage, but you guys, you guys know me. You guys know where I'm at. Playing both sides. You know, kind of. It's like having, you know, it's having 2 kids, I suppose, and making sure they both get the attention necessary. Anyway, so looking at tonight, a couple big points I wanted to make. Yeah, the first period, you know, it's not always about the shot clock, but when you see a 15-4 after 20 minutes, that goes to tell you who had the puck, who didn't have the puck. And Vancouver's 2 goals, the Besser goal, the Besser goal, that was high skill play. He got in behind in the slot. I mean, that was a good hockey goal by him in Vancouver. The Quinn Hughes goal was just a shot from the left point, went off Milosh's stick. Unfortunate. It even bounced, I think, before it beat Reimer. So and both those goals happened within the last 5 minutes. So you're kind of feeling like, all right, it shouldn't be 2-0, but it is. But then again, the 0 is definitely going to be up there because the Sharks didn't even have the puck half the time. So I thought it was a really good turning point, though. Not just that the Sharks scored a couple goals in the second period, but Logan 3 and change in. And also Bob Boughner mixed up the lines to start the second period. Now think about that for a second. It's one thing if a coach late second, early third, mid third decides to put everything in the blender, right? Tries to get things going. How often do you see an NHL team, or at least the Sharks in recent years, changing line combos to start the second period? It lets you know that, the head coach was trying to do everything possible to wake his team up, to get him back in this game. And, it worked. Honestly, it did. It got them back in the game. It energized them. It's just that, again, the hole they dug and the mission that they had to try and accomplish after that was too difficult. It was a statement second period. I wish it was a statement win and a statement game, but it wasn't. And that brings me back to, when was the last statement game? It was actually their last win, right? In Washington, first of the road trip. Was that January, probably like 26th or something like that? 22nd? I don't even know. But when you factor in the break and it was the 22nd. You factor in how long it's been. I mean, literally it's been 5 days short of a month since the Sharks' last win and last statement win. And that's why tonight it was so disappointing. If you were to get that in overtime, and you still would have, squandered a point to Vancouver, but you would have got 2, and you would have felt good about it, and you would have felt like, okay, it's not how it played out perfectly, but it could have been a momentum builder. It could have ended the losing streak at 4. Tonight's hypothetical win could have done so much for this team and in the standings as well. But I think that's what makes the loss even more of a sting, right? 5 in a row for the first time against Vancouver, who's right above you in the standings. And now all of a sudden you're starting to see, some separation. I think the Sharks are about 8 points back of the 3rd spot in the division. And Drew and I talked about it on postgame. You almost get a little bit concerned that the division is shaping up at a time where the Sharks are well on the outside looking in. I think that's a real concern / fear. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I understand the odds for the Sharks in the playoffs. They're not good at all right now. They're not. I'm not saying I always believe that, but I'm also saying I'm very realistic about understanding that. But as I keep going back to this, fair or not, the mass public, the general public, the mass amount of hockey fans are going to say, well, the Sharks only got better this year if they got back to the playoffs. And that's not those of us who watch every game. Look, if you're here watching this live stream right now, you watch a lot of games, right? You understand this team. You can see that they have made strides, that they've turned a lot of things around. Enough to get to the playoffs? Maybe not. But I think that's the difference, is you're going to have 2 different camps. You're going to have those who don't watch and, criticize the Sharks for not getting back, and is Boughner doing enough, and should they break it all down, and should they have kept Kane, and everything's going to get second-guessed, right? Because they didn't make the playoffs. But in reality, it doesn't just happen that fast or that way. So, that being said, I think I'm gonna get into the comments here, and I think this one is funny already. The stealth sweaters curse strikes again. What is it about Thursday nights, huh? I do not know. Those jerseys look great, but fans always talk about, the nights that sting the most. That was a sweet moment for Barabanov. Short side, had a pretty good game. I like him. Haley says, I know the loss stings like crazy, but I'll never forget that Barbie goal. The scream you released was inhuman. Hopefully the neighbors didn't make a phone call on your behalf. Also, 3 goals with an extra skater. So, yay. And you're right. Timo's 2 power play goals, and Drew and I were talking about that too. It was almost like the Barabanov goal with Reimer pulled was kind of like being on the power play, 6-on-5. And by the way, there will be a whole video I'll put out maybe tomorrow, but it's so unfortunate, the goalie situation with the Sharks. Adin Hill's still injured. At some point, it's beginning to be concerning that he has not played in almost a month. So whatever he's going through, dealing with, I know you want to get it right, but at the same time, there was something pretty significant that kept him out. But you just haven't been able to utilize a 1-2 punch. You haven't been able to go Reimer, Hill, Hill, Reimer, Reimer, Hill. It's Reimer, then Hill. And for whatever reason, whether it was COVID or injuries to one or both, you just haven't been able to have a regular rotation or mix. And I feel like that's where the Sharks would have benefited most this season with that mix. We take a peek in over here at the old city council meeting. Are we making progress? Oh, it's gone. Oh, no, my volume's just turned down.
I don't know if it was today or a few days ago that this timeline is basically created by the aides. And so that's deeply concerning.
I don't know if you guys can hear this. It's pretty low in the background, I know.
Our labor groups.
I could
with the ILWU
I could bring this up on the screen. I don't want to get everybody so involved in it here. I know it's not what you guys are here for, but I'm literally here's my channel. Look at running 2 live streams at the same time. Wow, 152 people watching the old live stream at Howard Terminal right now. So anyway, back to real life over here in Brazil, where I actually am. Just sucks to grind through the tough times of a young, inconsistent team. And it's amazing, right? Like you play Tampa and you play Washington and you play Carolina so well on that trip, and maybe they'll play Las Vegas really well this weekend. Why can't you just go out and beat the Canucks? They were an identical team to the Sharks coming in, 22, 21, and 6 for Van, 21 or 22, 21, and 4 for San Jose. The only real difference, they played 2 more games, they lost 2 more times in overtime. Nearly identical teams. And, were the Sharks that much the worst team tonight? No, but when you spot Van 2 goals and then you have to chase it the rest of the night, that's enough to cost you in this league. It really is. Brandon going real negative here. You're already counting a 6th straight loss. All right. A's Raiders dub Sharks. Nice to chat with you the other night. That's a Hurdle sad face right there. Barry's goal was hype. Barry. Overtime, and just to go back on the JT Miller goal, it was a weird sequence where Sharks took the penalty, Van kept the puck, and instead of chasing the puck carrier down, the Sharks kind of said, okay, well, we'll just burn time. That's fine with us. We don't want to be on this 4-on-3. And then next thing you know, the 3 Sharks are kind of gliding back into position, and Miller bangs one home. Craig saying, I don't think we ever even had possession in overtime. Kind of felt like that, huh? And that's what good teams do in overtime. And the Sharks are a very good overtime team. That's another frustration factor. I know they've lost a couple in a row that way, but they're very competitive. They've got so much skill. They can roll a couple trios out there that can score. And tonight didn't even really create high danger opportunities 3-on-3. I'm with you, Fernando. I can't wait for Knizhov to get healthy, too. I've missed him all season. I was a player that last year I thought was probably the biggest, with Mario, the biggest emerging player. Barabanov, too, but small sample. But Knizhov was good for a long time. Almost makes you forget this team was once in 4th place. They only have themselves to blame. Well, I'll just say it like this, too. This has been a weird season. Some teams had played 5 or 7 more games than others at one point. So the standings were misleading in a lot of ways. Now other teams are making up a lot of those games. Now, Sharks have had the benefit of rest and getting some of their players healthy. If they had to play as many games as Calgary has lately, they might be burnt out. So it's unfortunately playing out, not well here in the month of February. And now there's 14 games, I want to say, until the trade deadline. March 21st, so about a month and change away. Oh, hey, my buddy Andrew from Japan, who we had on Beers with Brody the other night. By the way, if you're here and you didn't see it, that was last night. Gosh, losing track. It's already Friday where Andrew is, probably, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. But it was so great to talk to Andrew. I really appreciate you doing that with us last night or yesterday afternoon. To have somebody on the Zoom from Japan to talk about the Sharks. Cool story. What's wrong with the overtime? The Sharks were real good in the first half of the season. That's a great point. They won their first 6 in a row in overtime. And Andrew, quite honestly, you tell me, I don't feel like they're any different 3-on-3. I still think they're tonight. Maybe didn't get as many chances, but in other games they have been. They just have not been burying that winner. So I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason or anything to pick out here and make a point of. I think that they've just ran into that. They're so very good, and now things are equalizing a little bit. But I still think that they're one of the better 3-on-3 teams out there. Patrick saying that you're not on the ice, Andrew. That's the problem. That's why. Would a third straight season without a postseason run, which is a franchise first, I talk about that a fair amount. Would that lead to more drastic changes this postseason or offseason, I think you're saying? Hoping we see the A's stay in the town. Oh, coming from a Giants fan. Well, John, speaking of that, how's the meeting going over here? Let's see. Well, now what's the latest?
And all of the results of the study.
Molly Mabrun's on there.
We have scoped that study.
And she knows the answers to everything. She is the guru of this project and all the details. Can you tell I'm a little bit addicted to that? Anyway, sorry. Let me get back here to Sharks Night Shift. Going back to this. I don't know if... Look, I think fans will make a bigger deal out of that than the team will. I don't know if that's a monumental, miss that's going to spark something tremendous. I don't think so. I think this team, you can't react. You have to be a little bit more focused than to say it's all about the playoffs. But let's be real. You're measuring the Sharks in 2 ways: the progress they make and the playoffs they either do or don't qualify for. And at this point, playoffs are going to be a stretch. Progress can still be made. So what I'm saying is that if you see enough in these final, 30 some or 48 games in, so what are we, 31 games left? Is that right? Nope, 32. No, wait, even more, 34. Why can't I do the math here? Yeah, 34 games left. In these final 34 games left, what more progress is going to convince you about this team? Felix, you're not too late. You were on the Beers with Brody last night, too. It's great to have you. Sharks fan did not like to see Nieto and Gregor out there in overtime. I do have to say, I'm not pinning it on them at all. I'm just saying that this was not one of the typical Sharks puck possession dominant overtime periods. It really wasn't. Dahlin got benched, played less than 11 minutes tonight. And it's been a tough first season for Dahlin. He's had a lot of success. He had a streak where he didn't score a bunch. Then Bob was almost thinking about scratching him, letting him mentally refresh a little bit. He didn't. Came out and scored some goals. I didn't check the ice time, but I'll say this, Nicholas. Looking back, I don't remember seeing a lot of him later in the game. Are the Sharks currently a one-line team? Probably. I'll put it this way. They've been a two-line team for too long. And at some point, yeah, they kind of regress to being a one-line team. So I don't currently, you had, Logan scored tonight, Barabanov scored, Timo scored. But you also got to get, you got to get some depth. You can't rely on your heavy hitters all the time. Goaltending is bad right now. I thought Reimer was average tonight. I've seen him better. I think we've seen him worse. We've seen worse circumstances, but I'm not throwing this one on goaltending necessarily tonight. Let's see. Yari, it's good to have you here. Tough loss. Then again, when do we ever have fun with math? Oh, late nights and math do not mix. No, I'm literally out of gas right now. I will be coasting home on autopilot the entire way. Got to find a relaxing podcast. Or actually, I'll probably just tune into this Howard Terminal live stream that's still been going. I cannot believe it. All right. I think I'm just gonna end it right there. I know. You know what? Tonight was just unfortunate. It really was. And that's been a theme. Unfortunate that the Sharks don't score against Edmonton. Unfortunate that tonight they put up a fight, but not enough and too late. Game they never had a lead. When was the last time they had a lead? It's been a while, right? So these are all things that you start to think about. You start to see where this season's going. Like I said, by the trade deadline, March 21st. Oh, now I'm playing the wrong songs here, closing out the... See, that's what kind of night it is. That's when I know I'm tired. We're going to know by the trade deadline what the Sharks should do. And it's already been whittled down to stand pat or maybe make some sales, trades and sales. Tried to say them both. Probably make some trades. Probably fortify your future a little bit. So it's kind of looking honestly more like that. All right. That's it. I need a rest. It's been a long day. Not just work, a lot of things. Did some gardening earlier today. My son and I, we ripped out a bunch of plants in the front that we're going to replant. They were not working out. We've had a cold freeze problem. Some of the plants just died, got too cold. Anyway, so we did the whole tear out process today. Gonna wait a little while, let the soil reset, till it a little bit maybe, and then replant. You didn't need to know all that. Anyway, I'm appreciative for everybody being here tonight, and I'm going to do my best to get home safely and stay awake. I'll be fine. I'm just saying, it's been a long day, but that's why I appreciate you being here. Until next time, enjoy some more videos on the channel. In fact, hey, go to my Howard Terminal live stream right now if you're an A's fan and see if they get that vote in tonight. All right? Talk to you next time. Bye.